talk about common mistakes that could be your mistake, it could not be. So the first one, the only real mistakes I saw were not simplifying. So make sure you're always simplifying. There was no real work to show for that one. You were just counting the slope and counting the y-intercept to get that equation. Yeah. So total points for did you get the equation format correct? Is your slope correct and simplified? Do you have the correct y-intercept? Questions on that one? Yes.
I did that where I did y equals 4 over 2 x minus 1, and then I simplified it, and then I put the actual equation under, but you highlighted that.
So if you didn't circle which one, I don't know which one you think is the right answer. So don't put multiple answers unless you're going to circle one. Okay. For the second one, you should have, I get that you can count it from the graph, the slope, but you should have done the work to find the slope. Your y2 minus y1. So this point was 3, 4. This point was negative 2, negative 2. So that, how you did that could be different. But let's say I'm saying this is my second, so 4 minus 2 over 3 minus negative 2 or plus 2, either or. To get a slope of 2/5. Then you could have chose either of the points to use your point slope with. I'm going to use the 3, 4 because that'll be easier. If you use this one, make sure if you're putting minus minus, that you change it to a plus before you keep going. And as you distributed and solved, this would have been y minus 4 equals 2/5 x minus 6/5. And when you added 4 on both sides, you got 14/5 or whatever that is as a decimal. So points for that. Did you get the slope work correct? Did you find the correct slope? Did you set that up correctly? Shh. Was your work correct? And then your final answer. Karina, what was your question?
If we put it in vegetable, that is credit to
Yeah, if you did 2.8, that was fine. But if that fraction happened to be not a nice fraction, I would want you to keep it. Other questions on that one? For 3, most of us did fine. Just make sure you're carrying through whatever, bringing your negatives, bringing your variables, doing your math correctly. So you should have started by subtracting x. You could have done all 4. You could have stopped at a because that ended up being your answer. Make sure you're dividing everything. And because these two lines are parallel, that would have been your answer. So you had 1 point for the work in general, and then 1 point for the answer. Questions on that one? For number 4, the biggest mistake. So most of us changed some. I'll say some of us changed the slope. We know it was perpendicular, so we had to change this to negative 2. But then, even after changing it, many of us did not put that back in. We still used the 1/3, which we should not have done. Again, if you're doing minus minus, make sure you change that to a plus before you keep going. Then with your setup, if we distribute, we have y minus 3 equals negative 2x minus 2. And add 3 on both sides to get y equals negative 2x plus 1. 4 points were, did you get the correct slope? Did you use the correct slope in your correct point in the correct setup? Was your work correct? Was your answer correct? Do you have any questions on that one? Again, if you put 2 different answers, I don't know which one is right, so unless you circle it. If you circle both, that again does not help me. So only put 1 answer. And then on to the last one. Okay. Most of the issue I saw with this one was we did not use parentheses. So we ended up getting a negative when we should not have. So this was our x, so if I put that in for each of my x's, one, when you put that in, you should have parentheses around everything, or make sure you have your negative 1/2. This one, you need parentheses. This one has to have parentheses as part of the f of x. So then as you start to solve, negative times a negative is a positive 1/4. This should have been a positive 2, a negative 2, and then a positive 2, to which the 2's cancel. So f of negative 1/2 equaled 1/4. Something in there is wrong now. Probably. Question on one. So, just so that you can see, if you use parentheses, you get a positive. But if you don't, you get a negative, because exactly what it did, it's saying it thinks you want negative times 1/2 squared, which are 2 different things.
Wait, so I have to use parentheses also.
Any other questions on that one? So those points were, did you set it up correctly? Did you show what each number got? And then the final answer in the correct notation. So you could have wrote this, or f of x equals, you shouldn't be putting y, x, f by itself, the whole thing. F of x, or f of negative 1/2. The last one, there were multiple different ways to do this, so I give you credit for either. If you started to put these in for x, since that is your x value, and saw which one would give you 24, that was fine. You could have also, since this is your y value, set this equal to 24. And solve for x. So many of us chose to put in the x's and do all 4 and figure out which one that is. Fine. That's just more work for you. But if you did it this way, we would have subtracted 8 and multiplied both sides by 2. Multiplied by 2. How would you multiply by 2? You're multiplying by the reciprocal. So x equals 32, which is what this is saying. F of 32. X is 32. This is saying y is 24. So 24 should not go in for x. Yes.
For on the test, the way if I just say I choose A to solve and not solve it and then it's right, do I have to solve all the other ones?
No. Other questions on that? As a warning to the entire class, because the study guide was found on this group's desk, whoever it was, that is your whole class warning. So if I see that for any of you, I'm taking your quiz or test and automatic zeros. That is your warning moving forward. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Clear off your desk.